How's it going? I think you're muted.
Poor performance already.
Hey, that's all right. I did actually set the settings so that you wouldn't be muted and you could just jump in at any point. So yeah, so I was surprised. Like I knew something would go wrong. But
The thing with technology, my AirPods don't seem to want to connect to my MacBook at all. Oh wait, I think I might be in. Say something.
hello.
No, they're just not working. You know what? I give up. I give up on technology already. Good start. So you're just gonna. Hopefully, this is gonna record nicer with just my voice. I'm loud enough, so.
Okay, yeah, you're coming through loud and clear. How about me? Is the audio?
Yeah,
good?
no, you're perfect. You're absolutely perfect.
I look like I'm about to do karaoke.
I'm a really big fan of it. I brought my unicorn mug so that I had something a little bit razzle dazzle to go with
Nice.
the whole setup that you've got. So
Yeah, I just did this today. So before this, I was in like a really pokey little office, and I bought this sign maybe 6 months ago. And before that, I was using like a virtual background, and it looks a bit crummy, like around the headphones, the way it breaks up. And so my friend Patrick, shout out to Patrick from Hamburg, he was like, dude, why don't you just buy a sign? So
fine, just do it.
I bought it. It was too big. I was too ambitious. So like the camera was like here, and I was here, and like the sign was here. So all you could see is like this much of the sign. So in the end, I just I had to make the move into this room, into a bigger room.
Oh, it's amazing. What are your little figures in the background?
Well, these ones.
Like anyway, yeah.
So I've got some like Street Fighter figures down there. So you ever played Street Fighter?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a gamer. Well, I used to be quite a gamer. I don't have the time for it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, Street Fighter, big fan.
Yeah, I got some Street Fighter stuff there, like little pops and aliens and.
Yeah, I've got my pop. I've got so many pops. I've got my little Don Draper pop right here. My little Derek Shepherd pop.
Yeah,
I've got several dotted around the house as well. So I'm a big kid, really.
Aren't we all? So yeah, I thought, I'll throw a scooter in there because it's not enough that you've got pops and stuff. Oh, and do you like this? If I stand out the way, you can see. I have a commode.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody should.
Yeah.
It's popping. It's great. It's
different.
It's different. It adds layers. There's just so much going on here.
There is.
I
don't know.
Who is he? If someone just walked in and was to try and determine who you were right now, just from the things alone in the room.
It's a good question. I do ask myself that quite often. Who am I?
Who am I?
I don't know. How did I get here?
We might be here all night if we go that way.
So you might notice that I keep like looking over here because I'm looking at you on this TV. But
yeah, I can kind of see that. But then you look like when you look. I don't know how to describe it.
I know it's stupid. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'm gonna swap this onto a different monitor so I'm kind of like at least looking.
I do this with Zoom when I'm like, because I've got a screen behind mine as well, and if I like have to move it and I'm looking that way and then I catch my face, it just completely throws me off.
Okay, 1 second. Right, now I'm looking this way because I got another monitor over here, but how's that? Yeah, I can see you, but I'm still looking at the camera.
You are now. Go back. Go look back there. Exact back.
I can do like a little. Okay, I'm ready.
Are we ready?
I've only been doing this about a year and a half. You wouldn't think so, would you?
You're like an absolute pro.
No.
Like, that's right. Showmanship. Like,
a pro.
I feel like you should do like a carpool karaoke style thing. The karaoke booth. It should be like a segment.
Are you good? Are you any good?
I haven't had enough gin. We maybe on the next one we can do another one. Like do like a late night show style thing, and then get me a little bit liquored up, and singing's not out of the realms of possibility.
Sounds good. Yeah, definitely. What would you sing?
Oh, I think I think my go-to, it's a toss-up between go-to karaoke songs. You've either got Crazy by Aerosmith, or if I want to ruffle any more feathers than I already have, probably Whack by Cardi B.
You know, I don't know how that one goes.
You don't want to.
But,
probably not.
I can do Anaconda by the lady with the big bum, Nicki Minaj, and I can do some Queen.
Oh, Queen always wins. Queen that wins hands down.
Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, like nothing really matters. Something like that.
That was a good attempt. That was a great attempt, in fact.
I guess. Right, Simon Cowell, if you're watching, let's go, man. Let's do this.
You know, we need the cash. We need the dollar. Make a One Direction out of us. We'll be Two Directions.
So, speaking of dollar and speaking of cash, and you know, swiftly moving on to careers and stuff like that, we met briefly, sort of. I don't know if you even call it a meeting, but there was like an interaction on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I added you, and I was you had a mega pint. So I was like, okay, let's go.
I don't have one right now, but you know, things can change.
You seem like super outgoing. You post are like super lively. So I thought, yeah, let's go. Let's get Demi on the show and see what Demi's all about, what her business is all about. So yeah, let's talk to the people. Let's tell them who you are, you know, what do you do, what services you offer, and what's going on.
Well, I'm Demi. I write stuff. Is the long and short of it. And it's really interesting that you say I'm outgoing. I get a lot of people say that I'm a very confident person, but beneath it all, I'm not. You know, and it's one of those things where I think I've built a exterior bravado over the years, and the posts that you've seen or found me from on LinkedIn was very much a case of me trying to elevate my voice a little bit more and be less fearful of fight back. I've always been quite an opinionated person, but I suppose in the social media realms and, you know, in the public eye, it's really difficult to kind of stand your ground. And it was something I really wanted to work on. But yeah, circling back, great term, not, to actually what I do. I'm a writer for content, copy, anything that people in business might need, from their web content, social content. Personal brand voice is a big thing as well that I'm trying to work with people on, because my sort of speciality really is script writing. I'm about to enter my third year of a PhD in screenwriting.
Wow. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, if I make it to the end.
how's it going? Like, you know, because how does that work? Like doing a PhD in that kind of topic? Because I could quite easily imagine what a PhD would be like in computer science or computing, because that's my background.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I was like, oh, because my brain can't handle that.
Yeah. So like I understand. I've been preparing for that for a long time myself, so I understand the process, and I've read quite a few papers. But for screenwriting or creating screenplays, how does that work as a PhD? What kind of thing do you have to produce at the end?
So it follows the same principles as sort of any thesis or PhD, but it's heavily weighted towards the creative work. So the actual course is creative writing, and you get to pick your discipline. Of course, with most PhDs, you have to submit a proposal in advance, so you really have something that you are looking into and researching. So mine is the evolving roles of women in film and television, sort of mainly Western Anglophone 21st century TV and film, and then alongside that you sort of do a contribution towards that field. So for mine it's a 8-part TV script, and I'm sort of specifically looking at the genre of anti-heroines as well. So you essentially have 80,000 words you've got to cover. 60,000 of those roughly gets weighted to your creative. It doesn't have to be, you can pick and choose. You can do a creative writing degree, entirely 80,000 words of research, thesis, academic writing on a subject within the creative writing industry, be that whatever you want it to be. Or you're allowed to take up to it to actually practice the discipline, which makes a lot of sense, because if you're a writer, then you want to actually like flex your muscles a little bit. So, and then alongside that, you do a 20,000 word exegesis, they call it. Again, it's a supplementary, think your dissertation, think your the essays that you did at any point in school or university, but 20,000 words of it. And that's essentially pulling apart what you've created, why you've created it, the commentary on society, like, you know, what change you're trying to make in your field, all of these fandangly bits, takes me forever to do as opposed to the actual writing. So yeah, I'm just finishing my second year now. Just submitted all that documentation, and
how's it gone?
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm really surprised with myself and really proud of myself, because I wouldn't have never imagined I'd get to the point of doing the PhD. I kind of just kept going in a way to keep myself interested and give myself a bit of a challenge. I always wanted to write for TV. I self-taught myself script writing at a relatively young age, but it kind of went hand in hand with, I did a lot of drama when I was younger, you know, I wanted to be an actress once upon a time, all that stuff.
Do you still want to be an actress?
You know what? I still do it, but I'm way out of practice. I mean, everyone tells me I'm very dramatic, so I mean, it makes sense. You know, and I'd absolutely adore it, but again, it's not. I think I moved into the writing side of things. I've always wanted to be a storyteller. I love the art of storytelling. I think I accessed that through acting and performance as a kid. It's part of play. It's part of how we communicate, all this stuff. And, you know, I was always penning little stories and such, but then it developed into the actual writing, and I got obsessed with TV drama like when I was like 13, 14, and I just wanted to emulate that and do it myself. So when it came to going through uni and going for all the, like, it was a hobby, which when I was going into career and things like that, it just got put to the wayside. And I was like, if I, like, life was seemingly carrying on and I was getting no further, and I thought, it's not exactly an industry you just walk straight into either. So, you know, if you face a heap of rejection or you don't get anywhere with it, you're likely just to put it away. So I was like, you know what, if I can take the PhD and it's going to make me do for 3 years, you have to sit down and produce work, then at the end of it, the worst I'm going to come out is a doctor in my discipline, you know. So it's, and yeah, I may never do anything with that further, but, you know, at least I've fulfilled that passion.
But at least then also you will have quite a portfolio of work that you will have completed over those 3 years, especially that last bit, to take with you. And, you know, maybe you've got something at the end of it that's, you know, it's actually quite sellable.
Yeah, and that's a big point of it. So I'm working really hard with my supervisor. Shout out to Michael if he ever watches this. Who's absolutely phenomenal. What up, Michael? He's absolutely phenomenal, and he's helping me and coaching me in the right ways in order to sort of like make that entry into the industry. You know, I'm in contact with a few production houses. I'm talking to the right people. I'm getting in the right rooms, and, you know, a lot of this is not what you know, it's who you know. And again, and that's the learning part of the industry. While I'm doing research and I'm picking up on like statistics of the, you know, the weightings of females to males within the industry in terms of behind the scenes and in front of the camera, all of this stuff, it helps you understand it a little bit better so that you can access it a little bit better.
And how is that? Is it heavily weighted towards males?
Yeah, yes and no, and it depends what you're looking at. I mean,
for your kind of role, the thing that you want to do, or
exactly. Screenwriting, it is, and it's one of those things you can argue that it's not necessarily purposefully driven. You have to really dig down deep to sort of analyze that this has been on purpose. Now, the issue is there's not as many opportunities available, but then it's about who's the best, you know. There's so many angles to it, but generally it's getting better. Like, it's getting better. I think you're looking at about a 70-30 split in the UK at the moment, and it's similar in the US, and that's weighted more towards the men in terms of screenwriting. In terms of like on-screen presence, that we're sort of making the 50-50 mark, but at the end of the day, not all stories are weighted that way. So it's you know, it's not always the right argument to say there's not enough of one or another sort of thing. I
wonder if like in a lot of companies like Disney, for example, recently there's been a larger push for female directors, female stars, particularly with like the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So and the TV series. So there's like an upwards trend towards that, and even with Star Wars. But I wonder if those releases are not as successful, not because it's women who are like in those roles or creating those things, but if it's men like trying to think like a woman writing a role. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like I wouldn't know really like how to write a female role from a female's perspective at all. I think I would find that really, really difficult, and I'd end up just making like a female do what like a dude would do.
It's hard to avoid cliches. It's hard again not to make assumptions. It's hard not to then project what you would do onto that role. And I was speaking with a writer the other day who's just done a book that he gave me, and he was like, I'm writing from a female perspective. I fall into that trap. I want to work with you and collaborate with you because you can offer that female perspective of the female character, because even with editors and things like that, you'd still fall into that trap. And it's also nice again for me to work with men, and I have a male supervisor that really helps. I mean, mine's female driven, is the drama I'm doing for my PhD, and that is one of the big topics I discuss, about the fact of like, we've got a lot of women being written on TV, but a lot of them are being written by men, and how they often fall into being the dislikable character opposite the role of a man, because there's a lot of projection on that woman. It's not actually truthful to like how a woman would react in that situation, perhaps. Obviously, there's certain writers that do it really well, like Jed Mercurio comes to mind, the writer of Line of Duty and Bodyguard and things like that. He's very good at writing that female character as a male, and it's not impossible by any stretch. But the female gaze and the male gaze are two of the debates around like how we view the world and how, so it is very varying. And I suppose it is it's hard to be able to write an experience that you've done, but then that's the role of the writer. Everything I've written is not from experience. You research things, and many women have been written by men. Loads of women have been written by men, and successfully. I just think we're seeing the dynamic in the types of narratives being told now, and a lot of them are grittier and darker and have to come from a perspective of lived experience sometimes to be able to get it accurate.
I wonder as well if, like I turned 40 in December, so I like...
You're looking good for it. I would never put you at 40.
So my... I've seen a lot of films like throughout the 80s, 90s, aughts, and 2010s, what have you, and movies and movies have been like my sort of main interest throughout that time. And now I keep seeing the same tropes and scripts and things in different skins, like again and again and again. So I'm kind of thinking like, when you had a film in the 80s or you had a film in the 60s or 50s, a lot of people would have not spent their time on social media or watching TV or living these sort of lives where they're almost isolated in a way by technology or by society, or the way their town is made up or their community is made up. And I wonder if being a more voracious reader of material makes you a better writer as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, again, it's opinion, but I'd say 100%. I think it's common opinion amongst anyone in any field, really, because especially a creative field, the more you study that field, the better you become at it. You need to learn the art form and reading. The way story structure, how people tell things differently. Like there's the argument that there's only, I think it's 7 types of stories. There's only 7 stories that have been told, and we tell them all in different ways. And it's understanding that, and it's understanding how you break that apart and how you break the rules, and then how you put them back together again, and how you do all these fun tangly things. So if you're a director of a film, you want to be a film director, but you've only watched 4 films in your life, you're really limiting your mindset to like what can be done, and you're almost siloing yourself into, if someone goes, my favorite director is Tarantino, and I refuse to watch anything else but Tarantino, you're really just going to emulate Tarantino, aren't you? Like you're going to be stuck. And they say like read as much, engage with as much content, even the content that you necessarily wouldn't usually go towards or give things like if it's an area you're interested in, you have to kind of give things a longer time to, you know, you don't have to necessarily like it, but you have to be able to observe it and understand what they're doing, which is a really interesting question you asked, that because I'm going to be leading a module at university in January with like the year twos, I think it is. And I'm looking at designing a course for the film school, which is genre and script writing, and how you pull that apart, and how then you go in there and pull it and like build a script and build a film or a TV show. And that would be really, really difficult to do if I had a room full of people who never really watched film. Yeah, so you kind of like, you go there with which again, you know, I'm a teacher, that's what my job is to do, but you'd hope that people have a vested interest in something and want to do something because they've been engaged with the form itself in some way or another.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I hope that works out for you. Like, I've literally just finished teaching. So
How was that?
No, I don't mean like today. I just mean like in general this week.
Yeah.
Like, Monday, I finished on Monday at 12. And I did a 3-year stint at a local college here. And in total, I've been teaching for about 11 years.
Wow.
And I decided to knock it on the head. So I'm going to be doing a different kind of job from Monday.
What are you doing? Do you want to share what you're doing?
I'm going to be an instructional designer. So I'm going to be making courses online for business to business. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. So e-learning. So
you might be able to help me on something like that.
Okay.
I'm thinking about whipping something up myself. But yeah, okay. I might be able to do with you a bit of help on the teaching front, because I'm like shitting myself right now. I'm like, I'm going to get eaten alive.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But I was just going to say, going back to your comment about them, whether they know anything about film, I had the exact same thing, because I was delivering, I think it was some sort of like media unit on a game design course, and the media unit, it covered things like the male gaze and
which is huge in video games. Like that's massive, like huge, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and also like camera position, lighting, diegetic, non-diegetic sound, like all of those different things were in there, and a lot more. But when I was talking to the students about films that I thought that they would know, like, they literally don't watch films at all. They don't even watch TV. They don't even watch Netflix. So
I'm like, what do you do?
they play games. They play video games non-stop. Like,
I mean, I was a gamer growing, like, I still am to some degree. Well, I'm not. I've got a PS4 over there that's been sat looking at me. I like went back on it the other day for the first time in about 18 months. But you know, I still class myself as a gamer. But like, you did a little bit of everything, didn't you? You play games, watch a movie, watch some TV, be outside, like climbing up a tree.
Yeah, listen to music, read a book, like hang out with friends.
I think it's the online side of gaming now, which has just made it even more addictive than it ever was. So you're just immersed in it constantly. You're on there. It's a social platform, really, more than anything, is most gaming these days.
They all use Discord as well, so they're all talking to each other all the time while they're playing, sharing music. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing.
No.
It kind of makes me a little bit sad. Maybe I'm like showing my age, but it makes me feel a bit like, oh, you know, if we're not careful, and if every new generation, you know, we're going to lose films. You know, if there's no interest in them, that it'll just fade away.
Well, it's really interesting. So I wanted to, one of my dreams was to actually be a writer for games. I really, really desperately wanted to write for Naughty Dog for the longest time, because they are one of the greatest game storytellers of all time. And like, you know, there is a big roles in that for writers, you know, but
yeah, that was my ambition as well.
Should we do it? We just design a game. Yeah, you can do the like fantangly bits, and we'll write the scripts. Yeah,
because my background, my like undergraduate degree is game design and development, and then my honors degree is like I did interactive design, and then after that I did a master's in computer science. So like I kind of moved away from gaming when I found out how difficult it was, like the kind of skills that they were after. I just thought, I'm really not a programmer at all.
Well, that's it. Like, everybody needs to know like all that. And I think for the longest time, a lot of access into the industry was you needed to have that even to be a writer. I think it wasn't until like The Last of Us is like my favorite game of all time. In fact, my cat's named after Ellie and Joel. And I think it was Hallie Cross who was on, was it Westworld, and came in to do The Last of Us 2. And the only way she sort of like really came in there was because she had no background in games, but because she'd been so successful within the film and TV industry, she made that cross leap jump. But usually for someone to start out, you'd have to make that way up through like the minimal, learn how to code, learn how to, and I looked at it and I was like, I'd never be able to do that. So
my original idea, like when I first started out before I joined uni, I thought, okay, I'll go do this game design course because it will give me the skills that I need to do 3D modeling and animation and stuff like that. And I thought I could make a sidestep into special effects design that way, and that's what I was thinking. And like writing, and Naughty Dog was from the Uncharted series. That was the
Uncharted as well.
The studio that I was that I was aiming for as well.
That's so weird, that like we had the same dream. Let's create the new Naughty Dog. Even naughtier dog.
Yeah. What could what would we call our new studio? What would we call it?
Well, I feel like there's something in your name that's just incredible. Power. I'm thinking on the spot here, and I've been like on meetings since 6 a.m. this morning, so you're getting the worst of my writing ability. Don't judge me, anybody, of how bad I'm thinking of my feet.
Right, come on. So
creative's a long time to come up with something good.
What's your surname?
Aspey, and that is Aspey. It's not really. Sorry, Dad, but it's like.
Is it like an asp is like a snake, isn't it?
I always said, imagine an ass and a P.
Aspey Studios.
Hilarious. I was like, yeah.
What if you change the spelling and do it like Aspey Studios?
Aspey. It reminds. Are you a fan of Rooster Teeth?
Rooster? Oh, I don't know that.
Or Achievement Hunter or anybody like that. So like with gaming podcasts and stuff, but I always thought that's like a really random name for it, and they just came up with that title for their podcast. It was like Aspey sounds like that. Just imagine like a donkey with like a petit pois next to it.
I actually, what I was thinking was, like a little, like a garden pea, like a fresh one, but like he's got his cheeks out.
Like a little smiley.
Yeah. He's like,
well, there you go. That's how I'm changing my company logo now.
So
it should be power to the ass.
Ass powers.
Ass powers. We're gonna probably get a lot of the wrong kind of
welcome to Powerful traffic. Ass Studios.
Power Ass Studios. Ass power.
Could be.
Yeah, there's something there, but this is early days, guys. It's early days.
Yeah. This is brainstorming. This is actually brainstorming.
Actually, live brainstorming. In 20 years' time, people are going, oh, look, this was the moment. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Shit.
What is it? Is it coffee? Run. Okay, so Demi's gone to go and get what I can only imagine is a tea towel or a cloth or a bit of tissue or something like that.
Oh, I'm concerned that that's going to break it now.
She does look concerned. I'm just doing a running commentary.
That's fine.
Just keeping it going.
The writer has just broken her MacBook. That's not good.
Oh no.
Oh no. It kind of seeps down into the keys, and I feel like that's not a good thing.
Turn it upside down. Oh, turn it upside down. Yeah, for now. And then put it in rice or something. Oh no, because we won't be able to see you, will we?
No. Oh well.
Oh dear.
We'll just see how it goes. If it's fucked, it's fucked. Oh god, this is not a good end to my first freelancing week, is it? It was going very well.
I can edit that bit out.
No, I think that's fun. I gesticulate too much. It happens all the time. I'm shocked that I've not broke more in my life, but anyway.
What do you know who Tony Blair is?
I don't know who Tony Blair is. I'm not a child.
Yeah, I know, but you look rather youthful, so I'm used to speaking to people who don't know anything. So
I know some things.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm 28, so I was of the Tony Blair era.
So he's the ultimate gesticulator, isn't he?
I should just move all liquids out of my way right now because.
Jeez, you got another drink as well. Oh my god, you're well prepared.
I always do people not like have 3 drinks on the go at once, like a hot drink, a cold drink, and then
I do sometimes, but what I tend to have is like a couple of brews, like 2 or 3 cups of tea, like lined up, ready to go
at the same time.
Yeah.
That's some serial brew drinking.
Not always.
Not always,
but no. Is that a Starbucks juice?
It's one of those like cup things. I know it's very Tumblr 2012, but I forget to drink if I don't have something like just there. So I'll be sat working and I'll be like, oh, it's been like 4 hours and I haven't drank anything unless it's like pure coffee. So I get one of these so I can just sit and like I am like a toddler.
So
number 2.
How long are you working from home?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
I've been on the working from home situation since the pandemic really. So prior to going freelance as a writer full time, I worked in telecoms, and then I had a brief stint as an EA in law beforehand. But within those roles, I was doing like lots of writing bits and marketing, and I like to wear many hats. So the work from home thing was out the office to the house. And it's been pretty much like that ever since. I've been working back in offices off and on, and I try and get out and about as much as possible. So
so I actually on Monday I start working from home.
You're excited?
Sorry?
Are you excited?
I am.
You don't ever have to get out your pajamas if you don't want to.
I know. Like I did actually.
It's a slippery slope. I won't lie, but
like I'm not gonna lie to you. I am wearing pants right now. I am.
You know what? I'm prouder of you because you are. I like you more for it. And the honesty is great. Because only 2 away. If I hadn't have just run up, then often I'm like still in my like you put the top on, don't you? And then you put your pajama pants on, or you're just wearing your pants, and you're like, oh.
So yesterday, I'm doing this MBA, and I did a like a lesson yesterday with these people. It's called the Power MBA Brain Labs, and we do it on the 7th at 7 every month. Central European time, so it's like 6 o'clock UK. And so I did that, and then the lady who's like in charge of all of the sort of Power MBA, she invited me to join this book club. So I was like, okay, I'll go check it out. I'm in the LinkedIn group, so I thought I'll go and see what it's about. And they're talking about this book called Limitless, and it's not the movie, but it's more about like your mindset. And
it's like a bit of a self-helpy one.
Yeah, something like that. And they start doing this exercise, and like they're from Germany and stuff like, right, come on, Paul, stand up. And I just put in the chat. I said, I'm sorry, I'd love to, but I'm not wearing any pants. That's a great excuse.
You're like, I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
I once went to go do a similar thing, like, on one of those morning networker things that start like really early in the morning. I was like, I don't need to put anything on. I'll just put a top on and leave my, like, I think I had Marie from Aristocats pajama bottoms. And then at the very last minute, I thought, you know what? No, you should change. And I'm so glad I did, because they did that whole "let's all stand up," and I was like, I was like, so close.
I wasn't expecting it. I was kind of, and
it's warm at the moment in the UK. Really we don't have air conditioning. Why should we have to wear more clothes if we don't need to?
Exactly. Yeah. Was it Cisco who said it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes? Is that right? Was that Cisco or not?
That's Nelly, I think.
Nelly.
Is it Nelly or is it 50 Cent?
No, I think you're right. I think it's Nelly.
It's Nelly. Yeah, it's Nelly.
Man, it is boiling, but
I'm roasting. I'm toasting marshmallows right this second. It's horrible.
You've got a lot of hair. So.
I've got so much of it, and I've left my bubble upstairs as well. I end up like a lion. Like, so yeah, might be time to shave it off this summer. I'll get your look.
Yeah.
You must feel great this time of year. Very cold in the winter, I imagine. Hat central.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, woolly hat. Woolly hat's good in the winter, but also during the summer, it's got to be a baseball cap or something, some kind
Get
of
older,
hat.
you do want to get burnt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it happens quick as well.
I was going to say, I bet you forget as well. Like, oh crap, I'm bald. I don't have any hair.
Like the first time it happened, where it kind of like really affected me, I was in Granada, like in the south of Spain, and I was walking around the Alhambra, and then all of a sudden I was like, man, I feel really sick, like really
gosh,
sick.
you got sunstroke.
And I had a hat on as well at that time, and I did get sunstroke, and I got so sick, like I kind of deteriorated as the day went on, that I ended up having to go to hospital. And luckily, the people I was staying with, my friend Kuro, his wife Lucy, she is a doctor. So she was like, yeah, no worries, come to the hospital, get you all sorted out. I went in, I was on drip after drip after drip, trying to get like hydrated again. And the girl that I was going out with at the time, she was like laughing, like that, you know, I was potentially probably going to die. Well, I'm not with her anymore, but
probably for the best.
Yeah, I think that was like the nail in the coffin, really. I thought,
yeah, it's like, you know, we can all like a bit of banter love, but you know, right now,
she looked really happy. Yeah, she looked really
too happy, like she planned this.
Could be, but yeah, that was the first time that like I really got it bad, and then ever since then I've been more cautious. But sometimes, yeah, you forget, don't you? You know, you forget to take your hat, and then it might be overcast, and then all of a sudden, poof.
Yeah, because like UV, it gets caught under those clouds. You know, education for you there. I did the same. So we went to Barbados with some of my friends, like the end of 2020, and like I've always been able to tan really well. I'm mixed race, so it goes like quite. It was always easy. I always came back looking phenomenal.
What's your
tan wise?
What's your mix?
I'm a quarter Indian. So not a huge amount of mix, but there's a mix in there. So like when I was younger, I had like much darker skin, and I'd go to Florida all the time when like, you know, on family holidays, and then come back a very, very nice. What people buy in a bottle these days.
Yeah.
What I buy, what I now need to buy in a bottle these days because my skin didn't do the thing. Anyway, we go to Barbados, and I'm like, I'll be fine. I don't need to, you know, do as much layering as other people. In fact, on the first day, I just didn't even bother because I thought me versus the sun, no competition. No competition, I'll win. Yeah, that didn't go well. A few hours in the sun, went inside, I was like, oh gosh, I'm a bit pink, aren't I? And similar to you, then I started to feel really, really you sort of look at it at first, you're like, oh, right, you know, it's just a bit, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And me being the muppet that I am, decided I'll be fine, just chuck on some makeup, go out first night out, you know, get levered, you have a good time. So alcohol and sunstroke.
Yeah.
I mean, how I wasn't dead is another thing, but I did spend a solid 2 days in the hotel room, and then my entire forehead had gotten it, and it just all peeled off. Like, and it was, I mean, I've never seen it was like, you know, in the cartoons where something's like boop boop, it literally looked like that. So I had to like lather it up with Vaseline and use my like friend's headscarf and wrap it. I looked like a homeless person for half that holiday, which really killed my vibe. But wear sunscreen, guys. It's a lesson learned between the both of us, because it was not good. I was so sick.
Yeah, I know another girl called Jenny, and she went on holiday a couple of years ago and didn't put any sunscreen on, and her whole face, like everything, just swelled up like massive. She looked totally different. And it was, it's crazy. Almost like she was allergic to the sun or something when it happened.
Allergic to the
really
sun.
Weird. A vampire.
Really bad thing. I'm like, Jenny, can you stand in front of this mirror for me, please? I've got a few things I need to test.
So, have you ever done a DNA test like 23andMe or Ancestry or anything?
Yeah, I really want to do that actually, but they're expensive. They ain't cheap. They're like 100 and something quid, and I don't have that much money just to figure out who I am. I spent most of that on therapy, and I didn't get any closer. I'm really interested in doing it. Might do one. Should do a. Who do you think of our podcast?
Yeah, I did it, and I did one with a company called Atlas Biomed, and I did like the DNA test with them, and that was more. It was more to do with health, but it also tells you your sort of ethnic background, or where your DNA has been or traditionally has been, and who you might be connected with. and so it has like a picture of a globe, like an animated globe, and it tells you where the male and female strands of the DNA have come from out of Africa. Like it goes, like it tracks it that closely. And then
that stuff.
Yeah, and I also did the ancestry one, and I thought that, you know, I'm going to be something interesting. 100% white European, like
white male. You're like,
yeah,
damn.
White male. Damn.
I don't want to be that.
Not now.
Not cool anymore.
Yeah, not in this climate.
Oh god. Yeah, have you seen that guy that ended up being like, I forgot what it was, but he was supposed to be the actual reigning king, and I can't remember what the reasoning was, like something changed on the bloodline and like someone got taken over and switched over and all this, but like they actually searched it back to if everything had gone the way it had have done, something hadn't been switched over in like terms of who'd been screwed over in the lineage of like royalty or whatnot.
Was this over in? Is this the Indian?
This is in England. This is in England. It's like one of those Tony Robbins or whatever, like documentaries, like, and he's there going, "You should be the rightful king of England," and the guy's face is just like. And I think he's like, you know,
brilliant. Like, yeah,
from down the road who's been a plumber all his life, and like, he's just like, right, thanks for that. I could have done without that.
Yeah, that'd be irritating, wouldn't it? Like if you'd be
a bit annoyed.
although, what if have you ever seen that movie King Ralph with John Goodman?
No, I don't believe I have.
Oh, you need to watch that, right? So what happens in that movie? No, I won't spoil it. It is like 30 years old or more. But basically, the royal family are having like a photo op. So you know, like their annual photo of, you know, Christmas photo or something like that. And some apprentice or something's like hooked up the electrics for the light, and he's put it in a puddle. And when the photographer takes the photo, all of the royal family is wiped out all in one click. Like they're all electrocuted and dead. So the people who run like Buckingham Palace and what have you, they have to find the next in line, and it turns out to be John Goodman's character. He's called Ralph, and he's an American, like obnoxious American, and they have to bring him over and like train him to be king. It's quite good. Yeah, it's a good movie.
I like those kind of movies.
It's very silly.
Yeah, I like a silly movie. I just don't get enough of them anymore. Proper ones, like proper good ones.
What's your favorite film?
This is a question. I've got ones for like different genres. I could list off God knows how many, but I think my favorite film of all time has to be Goodfellas.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very strong. Yeah, that's a really good answer. That's almost a prepared answer, I think.
No, I could go for it. We've got Goodfellas, we've got Alien, we've got Pretty Woman, we've got Terminator 2. Terminator 1 could come in there, but Terminator 2 is arguably better. 500 Days of Summer is one of my favorite films, but for like personal reasons as well. There's like so many that like fall in. Like I have different categories of things. I cannot determine one singular film, and I've probably forgotten like 8 that are usually in my list. But Goodfellas probably hits the pinnacle for me.
It is.
What about you? What's really your favourite film? The Breakfast Club, that needs to be in there. John Hughes, we need a bit of John Hughes in.
Of all time, favorite film of all time is really tricky, isn't it?
Well, exactly. It's like, where do you begin?
Yeah. I think I have to say Predator is definitely up there.
Good choice.
Yeah, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Goodfellas is really good, isn't it?
That would have to be in terms of storytelling, and it's just Scorsese at his finest. I absolutely adore that film. And sadly, we just lost later.
I was gonna say, what I'm trying to think of now is like films that I go to all the time.
Yeah, there's almost like your comfort film.
Yeah,
like your guilty pleasure film.
My guilty pleasure film is Happy Gilmore.
That is a good one. Any Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
You know which one like really gets me every time, and it's actually one of my favorite films, Click, with Adam Sandler. That's one that like you go, oh, I thought this was supposed to be a comedy. You just shot me.
Yeah. There's a couple of films like that. Okay, so what films make you cry?
Cry movies. I'm a bit of a wimp. Well, I'm not really a bit of a wimp, to be fair. I've become more of a wimp.
Do you want me to start? You go. Yeah. So The Color Purple. Have you ever heard?
You know what, right? And this is going to sound really, really bad. I've never got around to watching The Colour Purple. And I know that's ridiculous.
Powerful.
In fact,
Powerful film.
yeah. Have I got the book? Yeah, no, I need to watch it. It's on my list. I've got all of these films, right?
E.T.
Yeah, E.T. never made me cry.
Oh, me, yeah, right at the end.
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit.
Well, the first time it happens is like when E.T. dies, and then it's like, and then
spoiler alert, guys! Spoiler alert!
Come
if
on,
you around. Like, yeah, I know.
96,
You just know someone's going to complain. You just know someone will complain.
I know, but if you haven't seen E.T. by now, come on.
You know what did make me cry? Avengers Endgame. I cried at the end of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still too fresh to spoil that one, but yeah.
With the hologram Tony doing the little talk, and everybody's like sat on the couch watching.
But it's the bit at the end of Captain America and going back to Peggy. And
yeah.
Anyway, that sort of stuff always gets me.
So good.
Beaches, the Bette Midler film.
Yeah.
That always stops me in the feels. Pretty Woman, because for me it's just, it's just amazing. And then there's sometimes there's films which like just make you really happy. Like there's the film so Richard Curtis is one of my favorite writers, British writer, who did like Notting Hill, Love Actually, all that sort of thing, that very typically British rom-com style thing. It's just a really nice way.
Where are those kind of films gone? You know
what I mean? Like that was a feeling to it. I suppose it's nostalgia because we grew up with it, maybe.
Like Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah, so the film I was about to suggest is by Richard Curtis, and it has that same feel, and it's called About Time. And you'd absolutely adore it. I kind of don't even want to ruin it. It is a Richard Curtis film, so it's got the exact same feel as those 90s rom-coms or like those early 2000 era stuff. And it is honestly one of those films where it really changes. It's got a really nice, wholesome feel about it, and it changes your perspective on life. And it has moments which like make you cry, but you cry. I think I cry towards the end with like happiness, like a realization of holding on to the things you've got. Almost, it's very, very good. I recommend that hands down.
Yeah, one of the best recent films that I've seen is Pig with Nicolas Cage. Have you seen that?
No.
That was, I think it came out on Now TV or Sky or something not too long ago, but it was I think it was at the cinema like very briefly.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah, wow. That's really good. Like if you haven't seen that, if you can get access to that, you should check that one out.
Yeah, I've got Now TV, so if it was on one of the, I've got all the, so it'll be there somewhere. Yeah, if it's not them.
Yeah, if you got Now TV like movies, then yeah, it should still be on there, I would think.
There's one film that we do need to discuss, which if you're a big fan of the 80s, I ain't gonna bloody say in terms of new releases.
What is it?
Maverick.
Oh, Top Gun. Yeah, wow. Actually, yeah.
You watched this? Have you watched it?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Oh my That's God. One where I could have cried all the way through. I've never been more excited in my life. And also on edge. Yeah, I was like, I swear to God, I think that is hands down one of my favorite movies, actually. Yeah, I've never seen
definitely
a film that has just been so strong. Like how they managed to recreate that exact same feeling without copying it. Because then there's a lot of like copying, but like they made it new for a new audience. But
without like doing those sort of like cheap like nods.
It was literally so.
Yeah, that was actually when I came back, I was like, that's like the best film that I've seen in years. Like in recent times, like probably since Endgame, I reckon.
Yeah, well, because obviously it was supposed to come out before in 2021. It was supposed to come out around the pandemic time, and obviously it got put off because Tom Cruise was like, I'm not releasing this to anything else. And someone was like, imagine having that film and just sitting on it for a year, knowing how good it is, and just been like, and it's been just as phenomenal as it is.
To get that response as well, like it's gone over $1 billion already. It's critically and financially a success. Like it's amazing. Like if that
I mean,
was his,
Tom Cruise is amazing at what he does,
Yeah.
regardless of his like beliefs and stuff in life.
Yeah.
He's a real life action hero.
Yeah,
Like
he is.
he is. He does all of that stuff himself. He just, yeah, it was so good, so good.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that film, and you're watching this now, you've got to
I
go.
don't think
Like
he
it's
does plug in it to make any more, but do it.
Yeah, go do
Change
it.
your life now.
Yeah. Oh, that is amazing. Are you at all excited for Avatar 2 or
No,
not?
I never really, to be fair, like I loved like James Cameron, again, a pioneer of like film. He is, regardless of what anyone says, he's incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
But an Avatar, I can't say there's anything wrong with Avatar. I just didn't really engage with it. Maybe it came out when, how long ago did it come out? Like,
It's 12 years ago, I think.
yeah, I think I was kind of like teenage years, and I was just kind of didn't really connect with it. I mean, apart from the fact it's got Sigourney Weaver in it, which love her. It just, I mean, it's a good enough story. Isn't it like the story's pretty much the basis of Dances with Wolves, or I might have gone that route. I think
it is.
It's like the same thing, but I don't know. I think it's a visually appealing film. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning. But other than that, I'm just like, it's not really anything.
I think what happened for me was that was like, I think that was the first IMAX movie I ever saw, and it was the first ever movie I saw in what was then new 3D. Like, because before that 3D was like red and green glasses.
Yeah, but in those glasses,
Yeah.
then everyone popped out and took Tumblr photos.
Yeah. So
I was like,
for me, like that experience, seeing that for the first time, I was blown away, and I was completely like, wow, that was amazing. And then I bought it on Blu-ray and put it on at home, and I was like, it's not the same film. Like, that's really boring. Like,
some films are really designed for cinema though, aren't they? Which, like, look at the new Top Gun, like those big action or those big spectacles, unless you've got, a huge TV, which I kind of do, but like, unless you've got something, it loses. And again, it's the atmosphere of being in the cinema, and those colors and that, and like wearing this, like, you remember when 3D TVs were a thing? And I think they still are, but like, sat at home with your glasses on, as opposed to sitting in the cinema, it's not the same.
This is one I used the 3D like 3 times or something.
Yeah, I think everyone did, didn't they? It was a nice little gimmick, and then you just went, it gives me migraines. So like, my eyes just go, I'm supposed to wear glasses all the time, so it's like I just can't handle it. Otherwise I've got like 8 pairs of stuff on my face.
Looking like the Nutty Professor.
Exactly that. Great films as well.
Yeah, man, Top Gun though, that kept me gripped all the way through.
I was buzzed for like days afterwards. I was like, I want to change careers. I'm going to go be a fighter pilot or whatnot.
You still could.
I could.
Would you say like?
No, I don't think I passed the medical. Like, it's going, I can't see most of the time, so I can barely drive a car properly. So I think they'd probably be like, you know what? Stick to the writing. Stick to the writing.
Feet on the ground.
Feet on the ground. Feet on the ground.
Yeah. So let's have a look at it. Just a quick time check. We're almost there.
My laptop seems to be still holding up, which is a positive.
Yeah, it hasn't fizzled. It hasn't popped.
Not yet, but
yeah, I hope it doesn't. You could. Have you got rice? Have you got any rice knocking around?
Yeah, I have, but I don't think that actually does anything.
It does. Yeah, it saved my mobile.
Well, it can't it can't get in.
You don't really want rice dust in your computer.
Yeah, exactly. I think it'll be fine. I got it up straight away. I think unless if it breaks, it breaks. I have, like, my cat pulled a vase of water over, flowers over onto my other laptop, my MacBook. So I had to replace that one because of him. And now this one I've had for 2 years now. It's been okay. So if it's the end, then I'm just shocked it's lasted this long. Can't afford a new one, but don't really have a choice now. It's kind of an important tool for work.
So before we wrap this up, like, what's next for Demi?
You know what? I think you make a plan in life, and it's good to have waypoints. It's good to have goals, but it's nice to kind of just see what happens. And next on the agenda is box off the PhD. That has to happen. Really, really work hard at this freelancing stuff, because I really feel like it is that calling. And and all being well, there'll be a script being produced one day. But I think I've found over the past few months that so long as I am writing, I'm always going to be pretty happy. So long may that continue. And if that does, who knows where it'll take me. I just like the opportunity to be able to be open to as many creative projects as possible. And now I'm in a position to do that. I don't want to pigeonhole myself, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I want to be really receptive to as many opportunities as possible. So it's just exciting. It's nice to have a little bit of unknown in life, but exciting unknown now. And
for your writing business, what's the best way for people to get hold of you?
You can get me on an email, which I'm sure you can provide somewhere.
Yeah, I think I've got it. I'll put it up on the process.
Or my website. You can reach out via that, or you can grab me on LinkedIn. That's where most people are finding me, like the lovely you. And yeah, you can just give me a holler, and we can have a natter about what you might want to do. And like I say, if it requires words, I can help. It's not just limited to business only. I'm even starting to develop some writing coaching as well, to help people find their confidence within writing, because I've had a lot of people reach out and say, I wish I could do this. And I genuinely believe everybody can. You don't have to take it to PhD level, but we have a lot of tools that help these days. And I think it's nice that people know how to express their voice and speak about the things that they're passionate about. So
awesome. Yeah, that's great. And just one last question: have you already, or are you about to go and see Thor: Love and Thunder?
I haven't already, but I definitely will. I'm one of those where I'm like a little bit like, I've seen so much Marvel, but I'm not exactly like, I can't keep up with it all. I just watch them intermittently. I
think I'm going to go watch it tomorrow at 2:00. So
think you've already booked? You've already booked.
I haven't booked
not
yet.
Thinking.
I've
been checking the times like every half an hour to make sure we're not.
And so after you see it, if you go and see it, do you want to come back on and we'll rip it apart? We'll talk about it.
We can do that. Yeah. Or yeah, why not? I feel like I haven't I'm not detailed enough on the Thor movies to be able to offer too much insight, but we could definitely do that on something else.
Well, you could talk about you could put it through the lens of your PhD perhaps, because there's female Thor is in this one.
Yeah, in fact, no, let's just do it. Let's do it. I think sometimes you don't need to know everything in order to be able to analyze something. I'm very well aware, I've watched pretty much all of it, but you get lost, don't you? Things happen in all the other Marvel movies, and then now all the TV series, and I watched every single one, and then you lose off on one, and then you're like, oh, I don't even know where to get back in now. And yeah, I just don't want to piss off some diehard Marvel fan, because they win.
But it doesn't matter. You're gonna annoy somebody at some stage. So.
Well, I'm thinking about changing my title to full-time wind-up merchant anyway, following a week of yeah.
So I just want to say thank you so much for your time, and thanks for
thank you for having me.
And it's been awesome.
It's been incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you for reaching out.
It's been an absolute delight. And
you've been all right.
Cheers. Okay, so